So welcome to everybody. So we're actually recording this session. This is the first of the 3 sessions that we're going to hold for the Monaco Yacht Show. This one is the benefit of CRM for yacht marketing company, for yachting companies. My name is David. I'm half Italian, half Australian. I've been in Monaco and with Relevance for the last 4 years. And I've always been working as a super user, and I come up from sales. So initially I was very much a user of CRM and complex system and situation where, of course, you need to manage your data, manage the data of your customer, remember what is happening with a client and so on. And that's very much what we're talking about. How do you manage your data? So customer data. Do you have a CRM? Unfortunately, we're not able yet to interact with people that are on YouTube, but we have a few people here. Do you have a CRM? How do you manage the data of your customer? Do you have it as have you ever used Excel spreadsheet? Do you use a diary? Most of the people, especially brokers, charter brokers, yacht brokers, sales brokers, they are very much tied to their diary, tied to the fact of jealous of their data. And of course, CRM is not a new thing. Started a long time ago. It was a glorified customer database or an Excel spreadsheet that was very much hated by many people. It was always a terrible thing. I remember myself on a Friday how to input the visits, input the telephone calls, input everything. It was very much problematic. The best thing that you could do in the past was to actually have an assistant that was filling up the CRM for you. Mainly, the reason for that is because it was complex, long and expensive to implement, and it was definitely not customer friendly. And because the CRM companies were very much IT companies, what they used to do is they used to try to encapsulate any kind of customer relationship. So it was someone from sales and someone from accounting, and invoices needed to be done on the CRM, and everything that was possible was being offered. So of course, there were a few problems. As we said, it was long and expensive to implement. I remember the first quotation that we got from SAP. It was something like 50,000 to do the feasibility study. And not even in order to actually do the implementation. And we had the possibility to do this fantastic system, and at the same time, it was always out of date. How come? Because it was based on manual input. Either you had the glorified assistant, or you actually had to put in the data, and you were putting in like a visit that was not real, or something that was not very accurate. So with time, what happened is people were using the CRM because it was the company choice, but they actually had another system. Like for example, a little CRM on the side or the Excel spreadsheet. We have customers that actually have a situation where their actual system is the CRM, but they all use Excel spreadsheet and nothing is updated. So what happened? This led to data silencing. Data silencing is a very bad word that basically says that every system wants to be proprietary. And so they give you a little bit of a different data rather than the other one. Okay, so every system has its own unique data set, and they are impossible to compare. So you were actually using, I don't know, one CRM, and then the Excel spreadsheet, and then the business card scanner, and then you were using the system that was provided by the Monaco Yacht Show yesterday or 3 years ago, And every single one was giving you a different column, a different set of data, and so on. So it was impossible to reconcile unless you actually had the famous person that would actually spend 2 hours, 2 days, 2 months trying to reconcile the data between your email or the actual CRM. So we had the more the technology actually came across and became invasive towards our life, the more the digital situation happened, the more we actually had more and more issues. Like right now we have the website forms that either generate an email or generate a record into the website. And then we have the mailing system. I cannot remember how many MailChimp accounts I ended up closing. And social media that has its own little CRM inside. And the broker's diary, all the broker's diary that they even say, well, no matter what, we're going to keep our data in our pocket. And of course, there is the log of the events and charter logs and sales log and any kind of events that it can happen were stored in a separate thing. And whenever you actually wanted to meet Mr. John Doe that was interested in purchasing a yacht, you had 5 John Doe, okay? And he was in the charter database, in the log of the event, in the email address, and so on, and there was no possibility to actually reconcile everything. So, to add to this, we increase the problem, I would say, with the features of the yachting industry. So in the yachting industry, everybody takes a long time to decide. Even if they're coming in and they say, I want a yacht right now, is because they wanted the yacht from 10 years ago. And so in that 10 years, they had any kind of experience with your brand, with any other people, with your company people, with your boat that you actually were having in the yacht show. They tried to come into your boat and they got denied. They had a little tiny problem, or they actually were welcomed and they have an incredible experience. And so because of that, they will remember it. So the client attention has been reduced because we're always on digital, but at the same time, the memory that the client have of these micro experiences is incredible. They actually remember very well, oh yeah, but I'm not going to deal with that person because 5 years ago they did something and I didn't like it. And so the client relies very much on digital for any kind of information that they need on product and services. So they actually come to the yacht show and they know everything about the boat. They just want to touch it because they couldn't do it. Because they've already seen how many garage does it have, how much space there is in the room. They see the 360 view that was not provided by you, but was provided by a YouTuber that you invited into your boat. They know every kind of specification that it has. They probably already have lined up a chef, the team, and financing. And whenever you're actually asking for him for KYC, they probably already know what kind of document they need to supply. So any interaction with your brand creates opinions and memories. Is that a good thing? Yes. It is a bad thing? Yes. Why? Because, of course, anything that you think that is not that important create a possible memory. This is very much the yachting purchase that we elaborated here at Relevance. So as you can see, between the moment that a person can think and have an inception of mind into, oh, I will buy a yacht, to the point that actually he's buying a yacht, there are at least 26 touch points. Now, all these touch points, from booking a charter and loving it, to search on the mobile for the yacht of a friend, to locate the broker in Google Business, to actually call the broker to discuss the purchase. It could be something like 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, any kind of time. And throughout this, you're actually having to remember that this person will remember everything that he's doing according to his purchase process. So for him, this is one single process. For you, this is just a customer that is inquiring, and a customer that is inquiring, and a customer that is inquiring about something else. Maybe he's just calling up and saying, hey, how many tenders can I fit in this yacht? And you're just like, oh, I'm at the yacht show, come and see. And that's probably the question that you needed to know, if only you would have known the person that was calling you. So here we have instead the arena of customers' data. So as we said before, most of the people, they look for it on digital. Well, digital allows you an incredible thing. Any action that we take in digital needs is measured. So whether you're going on the website, going on my social media, going on the company social media, going on clicking on an advertising, all this is it can be measured. Is it measured? Sometimes not. You know, sometimes we have companies where they have the social media department, and then they have the newsletter department. Sometimes marketing departments, they are tasked only to do newsletter. And so all these measuring points, they end up more or less in the same situation as we were talking about the CRM 20 years ago. You know, that it was silos. You know, you had all the data in the social media that are in the social media, or the data that are in the CRM are in the CRM, all the data that are in the newsletter system are in the newsletter system. And there is no cohesion. So because of this, we actually have an incredible amount of touch points, interaction, and we can measure everything. And we're not able to actually intersecate everything and understanding what we want to do. And of course, because everybody supply a different data set, they don't want you to mix and match. And of course, your broker wants only one thing. Is the customer ready to purchase? Yes? No? Is the person that you actually sending me to speak to, is it going to be the right person? Is it going to be the wrong person? Is it going to be really interested? And this is what we define a marketing qualified lead. So, what do we know now? We know that we can organize the data that we saw before here. So, we have an incredible amount of data. How do we do that? So, that's the reason why you actually need a CRM that is actually attached to your website. Because the CRM allows you to organize. So, we create personas, journey, and funnels. And then we do an incredible thing that is, of course, very much probably the experience of my United States time. We guesstimate. Okay, so we guesstimate through interaction, call to action. We assess the intent and we look at the analytics. So let's take a very brief breakdown of what does that mean. So a persona is a fictional representation of the category of a visitor. Okay, so usually people say, oh, but my persona are my clients. That's fantastic, you know, but your personas are students also. They come in, they look at the boat, and they think that they are fantastic, and they want to one day drive one, you know. And people are actually coming into your website, and they are looking for a job, and they're job seekers. So that's why it is important to have positive and negative personas. People that actually, like in a normal broker's house, there is customers for sale, a customer for charter, a customer for yacht management that actually has a yacht, okay? And then there is a job seeker, a person that is actually looking to work, and then there is the curious, the person that is actually interested and is like, oh, yachts are so cool, I would like to be on one, you know? And so each persona requires a journey. So a journey means that we are actually driving the person into our website, that he arrived because we had a fantastic banner ad, and he's coming into the website and he says, hire a yacht for a week, okay? Little did he know that it's gonna take him something like 500,000 in order to actually book that yacht. And so he's actually started looking around. And so this is why we actually have to have journeys for personas. And then we are actually able to segment people based on the persona, and we are able to super target, to actually create the type of typical person that is actually interested in chartering a yacht for $500,000 a week, and that can actually do this consistently. Based on that, we can actually use the other people. And that's more or less like, this one is a very schematic and brief ideas of what does it mean to actually have a persona influence matrix. So we have usually the target or the client, you know, which can be royalty, can be any kind of like a artist, can be any kind of thing that is actually a person of ultra high net worth. And then usually they implement an internal solution seeker. And they implement the internal solution seeker, which is usually hired by the person, usually dealt with the wealth advisor, deal with the tax advisor, deal with the legal advisor. The target is usually influenced by the personal influencer, the friend, the lover, the wife, the kids. And then, of course, we have the awareness provider, the person that is actually giving up information in regard to the yacht or so on, and the external solution provider, like, for example, I don't care about my organization, please take care and find me a yacht. Okay? So all this can be influenced, and all this have a specific percentage of weight that they have according to the decision maker that is actually made by the target. So, does that mean that we have to influence everybody? No, but at the same time, we might have a situation that each of these person is coming on our website. So that's why we actually are doing the journey, okay? So every visitor needs to, a journey is very much a possible navigation that is happening on your website. Why we have a journey? The journey is needed because we are actually confirming that the person that we think has a certain amount of feature and characteristic because he is, let's say, a charter customer, is actually a charter customer. Okay, and so that's why positive and negative personas are needed, and each persona requires a journey. Of course, we need to also define web pages into our website because, and this is a little preview, the CRM knows what pages the visitor visits. So we need to have a home page, definitely, but we need to have a pillar page, which is a macro selection of, let's say, all the yacht for charter. We need to have a supporting yacht, supporting page, like, for example, what are the best destinations in chartering a yacht? I want to go to Jamaica, 10 yachts that you can charter in Jamaica. And we have a destination conversion page. So it's a final page where the actual client is convinced enough in order for him to actually release his identification details. Of course, we can have also an inbound page. That's another story. We can chat about that, maybe individually if you would like to actually set up a one-to-one person meeting. Feel free to do that, and we'll discuss what is inbound and what are the advantages and disadvantages. So here we have like a typical situation where you have a home page, you have a charter a yacht, rent a yacht, sell a yacht, purchase a yacht. You go down to a pillar page. In the pillar page, you select a yacht. Here in the destination page, if we would be lucky, the person would actually say, inquire about this yacht and release his data, while instead it goes back to a supporting page, then down to a supporting page, then back to the pillar page, and then this can be super complex, you know. That's why we have journeys, but we have funnels, okay? So what is a funnel? So on a journey, we actually have a journey for both positive and negative personas. On a funnel, we actually have the funnel from conversion from a visitor or a stranger to a marketing qualified lead. So what is the purpose of a website in digital and so on? The purpose of a website is to provide you with a marketing qualified lead, a lead that has qualified himself enough in order for you to follow it up. So a funnel is the ideal path that converts the ideal persona from visitor to marketing qualified lead. How do we do that? Usually with call to actions. We have, like for example, this one is a typical situation that we have with charter on broker house. We have a situation where they actually arrive into the page of this beautiful yacht and they read your page. And depending on the page, they actually decide to do something that you're actually asking them to do. You're commanding them. So you're saying, inquire about this yacht, or download the yacht specification, or see other yachts. Now, you're thinking, is this something that is standard and so on? Well, these ones are actually 3 levels of intent out of the 5 possible ones. So what is intent? Intent is very much a situation where we actually decide to do something that has been asked to us. So we usually divide intent into 5. You know, we have full intent, a person that comes in and buys the boat. So if we would have all customers like that, we would never need a website, you know. No intent is actually the person that comes in and walks away, or close the page, or put down the telephone when you're calling him. You know, it's completely zero. So we usually define that from no intent is less than 10%, full intent is 100%, high intent is 60 to 90%, medium intent 30 to 60%, and low intent is 0 or 10% to 30. So if we're saying a high intent, the person is going to click on inquire about this boat because he's interested. If has a medium intent, he's going to just start to search more about this information. Let's say, for example, I'll download the yacht specification, I'll see more information, and so on. And if you were able to actually convince him that you can supply a list of yachts for him, then you're going to have see other yachts. And then the person is going to click on it. And so this is what we call guesstimation time. So guessing and estimating what is that the visitor is telling us. So we have very much 2 sets of data, as we can see here. We have implicit data and explicit data. So explicit data is everything that the client releases to us voluntarily. So if you have a form, you're putting name, email, telephone number, what is your budget? Those are all explicit data. Implicit data. Implicit data is everything that is deducted by behavior. So 20 years ago, it used to be, how are you dressed? Are you an affluent person? Depends on the watch that you're watching, that you are having. Right now, implicit data is very much what boat you had a look at, what device you were using, what kind of situation you were expecting on the website, how many times you came back. Did you use the telephone or did you use a desktop? All these kind of things, they become implicit data. What pages did you see? So we have a typical situation where usually a client decided that has an inception, and his inception is, I want to charter a yacht. Fantastic. And then he goes on the website of the company that he thinks is going to be the most favorable for chartering a yacht. And then what happens is he's looking at the most expensive one. Okay, so he goes on the homepage, then charter a yacht, and is looking for the most expensive one. And then we see that he's looking for the most expensive one. Then he comes back, and he's actually selecting the budget that he's looking for. And then he's looking at 1 yacht, 2 yachts, 3 yachts, 5 yachts, 7 yachts, 10 yachts that are actually in the same budget. So this is guesstimation. we don't know how much he's going to spend. But we can estimate that probably he's looking for a range in the type of budget that these yachts are priced. And that's very much what we're doing here at Relevance. We are specialized in estimating how ultra high net worth individuals behave, because we actually set up situations that are direct marketing situations via email, via events, and so on, and then we are using the systems ourselves. So now, are we talking about a CRM, or are we talking about an advanced marketing automation system? Because a CRM, like, it's usually a scary word. I had a fantastic slide with a terrifying t-shirt that my design director took away because, of course, it was not appropriate, because it was too scary. The CRM analyst, you know, a person that actually come in and cost you a lot of money, make you lose a lot of time, and in the end, you're still not using the CRM, okay? Or we're actually looking for a situation where the system actually sends you a message on the platform that you want. So you're using WhatsApp, it's going to send you WhatsApp. You're using email, it's going to send you an email. You're using the notification of the CRM, you're getting notified on the CRM about everything that is important for you. Like if the client has visited your page, if the client has visited the page of the yacht, if the client is actually in town, is booking an event, or so on, that is supplied by your website, okay? Now, because of this, we can actually have a situation where the CRM is actually able to score leads, okay? So if you're actually saying something like, okay, I want to see all the people that are actually coming to the event, and out of that, I want to see all the people that are actually visiting on the website after I've seen the event, okay? Then this is a possibility. Then this is a situation where the client is actually able to act freely, but we know what the client is actually doing. And of course, we have the possibility to target and retarget, segment and segregate lists in order for us to be able to do what everybody at the Monaco Yacht Show is going to try to do, which is send you an email on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week and try to say, hey, first name, it was a pleasure to see you at the Monaco Yacht Show, because it's the title of the event. I would like to discuss your requirement about what we marked in the CRM. So this one is something that we actually are trying to have in the most fluid way possible. And that's why it is important to actually have an advanced marketing automation system. So what are we talking about? What is a system that is good? Okay, like how do you choose a system? Do you just simply say, oh, I need a CRM? I mean, it's a little bit like accounting. Everybody has one, you know? Or everybody was managing their clients, because if not, it wouldn't be in business. So usually we listed here a little bit of interesting things that they need to be, I would say, tick boxes. You know, like for example, it needs to be integrated with your website, with social media, with your ads, with your email, with your calendar, with everything that actually constitute a touch point for the clients. So then it needs to be able to record, manage, and log interaction with the client. So if I'm having the best CRM in the world, and then I cannot record on the fly after I had it, the meeting that I had at Slammers 2 days ago, how is that possible that I'm going to be able to actually remember it 5 days ago, 5 days after, or create a proper situation for me to actually remember what we talked about, was it significant, and so on. So It needs to, of course, congregate and consolidate all the data sources automatically. We cannot have the mailing system that is setting up their own data and then suddenly, oh, we don't know, has the customer received the newsletter? Did we send him the information about this yacht that is super important, that needs to be sold because the owner is breaking our balls? Is that something that we actually know or not? So this is why it is important for all the data sources that are congregated and consolidated. Now, the last and the fourth important and very important thing is we need to be compliant. Why? Because a while ago we actually came down with a beautiful regulation that was scaring everybody. It was the GDPR, okay? And it was in a situation where everybody actually deleted their customer database just on the fact that, oh my God, GDPR, they're gonna come in and they're gonna seize all our customers. Turn out after 5 years, nothing happened. You know, everybody keep using their customer, except for those companies that are like, oh, we cannot use this customer. He didn't send the writing in regard to the fact of I approve for you to send me communication. So all the CRMs, they become data processors, you know, and so they need to be compliant with GDPR, with CAN-SPAM, that is the US regulation, with the California Consumer Protection Act, which is a very strict one that basically says you cannot sell your data, which in Europe we never do, because usually we keep our data and we think that is important. And the last but not least, we need to notify our sales force. Okay, now there is a CRM that is Salesforce, and nonetheless is one of the most successful in the world. Why? Because it's complex, heavy, it requires an incredible amount of time in order to be implemented. It can do even pizza. But at the same time, sometimes you want to have something a little bit skinny and sometimes a little bit fast to implement, and something that can be implemented in days or a month, rather than actually having a situation that is super heavy. And that's why we actually work very much with HubSpot. We work with Pipedrive, we work with Zoho, we work with Dynamics 365 also. However, if I would have to choose a system of preference, I usually end up with HubSpot. It's a system that I've been using for the last 7 years. I'm certified on it, and I prefer it very much. So this is something that in the end is what usually a full implementation look like from our side, which is the techie side, which basically means we are attracting the customer, then we are converting, and then we're closing, and then we are re-engaging. Okay, and so from here we have a lot of conversions. Everybody was like, oh, we need one conversion. That's not true. We actually have people converting continuously. From strangers, they become visitors when they actually click on the website, on the advertising. From visitor, they become contacts when they actually submit a form. From contact, they become marketing qualified lead when we assess them that they've seen so many pages and they have done so many actions on our website. From marketing qualified lead, they become sales qualified lead when we actually put them towards the sales rep, and the sales rep picked up the phone, called them and say, do you want to buy a boat? Yes, but a toy boat. And from there, we become clients, and the clients become evangelists. Evangelist means that we actually have a client that will refer other clients. And we know very well that there is no better client than a friend of a client. So anyway, this one is something that we can discuss very much in regard to the fact of having a personal one-to-one meeting. You know, depends because implementing a CRM has many levels. Everybody wants something that, of course, costs nothing and does the miracles. But in the end, your yachting company needs a CRM. And the reason for that is because everybody in yachting is never trying to present a situation where they just want to give you something cheap. They want to give you a sublime experience with an incredible attention to details And most of the time, this is impossible if you don't have a one-to-one experience. And because usually people, they never remember more than 300 numbers, 300 names, and so on, you want to have a situation where the CRM provides you anything that you cannot remember and more. So that include and conclude our first workshop for relevance here at the Monaco Yacht Show in regard to marketing. Our CEO and president, Rumble, is going to have another workshop tomorrow on the benefit of digital marketing in the yachting industry. And I am trying to see if our colleague is able to see if there are anyone that is asking for comments on YouTube. And instead, if you actually have any kind of question, please feel free.
For YouTube, we don't have comments pending at the moment.
Thank you. And
Will you share these slides?
yes, so what we'll do is we'll send this presentation to everybody, or at least the people that actually have subscribed to this live stream. And then we will, of course, will be able to be available during the yacht show and in the next coming weeks in order to resolve and respond to any kind of information that you would like to have it. Yeah. So that's.
I actually have a question.
Oh.
Where's the level of abusing the CRM system for high-end clients? Let's say there's a person that holds the CRM information and data in a company and shares the information with charters, sells the information with sales, etc. And salesperson needs to boost their sales quotas and is inquiring information about the person and is then approaching that person, and meanwhile or at different times the same is done by a charter colleague. And
absolutely. So that's a very common situation that happen in regard to many brokers' house, because of course we have, like in the yachting industry, we have mainly three categories: yacht management, sales management, or yacht sales, and charter management. And everybody has their own commission, everybody has their own level of influence. So usually the reason why this is important is because we tend to segregate the visibility that a person has in regard to type of contact and type of activities. So when you're saying about abusing a CRM, well, abusing a CRM, so first of all, let's divide it into three. The first one is by design. Okay, so when you're actually designing CRM, the first thing, or when I'm designing a CRM, the very first thing that actually a client asks is, yes, I want to see everything. However, I don't want my employee to see everything. And that's very much a situation that we deal with that every day, because you want to have sales to see only sales client, charter to see only charter clients, charter to be able to see sales client in case they actually want to do a charter. And so we do a lot of segregation on that. We do regulation. We usually implement a situation where you can actually see the name of the client, and then you can ask for the owner of the contact to actually share it with you. So this one is a possibility. There are a lot of other possibilities that are available. So this one is number one, the first one. The second situation is when once the client, the system is designed, then of course we want to have a situation where they input their own clients and they are not seen. So that one is also done in regard to segregation, but also attached to the email system and attached to any kind of system that they're working. And also, let's remember that, yes, and this is the third part, whenever we're actually dealing with a client, once the client becomes an asset of the company, it is the company that is responsible for the client. So you can say, yes, I have a very good friend of mine, and I would like him to charter a boat, but has to stay my customer. Yes, but the moment that he's actually chartering the boat, he's entering into a contract with the company. So it's the company that is responsible of his data. Does that answer your question? More or less.
Yep. I have another one.
Please.
Actually, two. In the current environment in Yachting, would you say that these personal connections work more than digital, or is it changing and the companies are more open to new systems, etc.?
This is the broker's diary. Okay, so the broker's diary is like the best, I think, everybody would like to find a broker's diary somewhere and so on. I would say that the key point is you can have information no matter what. You can know the name of the best customer in the world. I mean, after all, we know that one of the biggest yachts is owned by Abramovich. So I know Abramovich, Does that mean that I can go and sell him a yacht? Probably not. How come? Probably because he has the personal relationship with a broker. And so there is a very good mixture between the fact of actually knowing the data and the concept of having a good broker. Of course, let's remember that, and this is the topic for another video, we have to remember that companies sometimes forget that the asset of a company is not only the desk and the office and the cars and the yacht, but is also their digital assets. So their presence on Facebook is an asset. Their presence on Google is an asset. And sometimes what happens is you change developer and the developer takes out your Google presence and you're like, oh, but it's mine. Not true. He set it up. So it is important to remember that. And of course, customers and customers' data, they represent an asset that is owned by the company. If tomorrow you're selling your brokering house, and you're not selling the person that is purchasing is not asking you for the customer database, probably he's buying a lot of air or a lot of desks.
Is there a significant difference between how much you can, let's say, you get some kind of a touch point from a potential client and then you want to approach them via email? How much is too much when it comes to the high-end clients?
There's no how much is too much. There is a how successful you can be. So we are in a digital agency, and Relevance is probably one of the best at targeting high-end and ultra-high net worth individuals. However, how successful, and we can see that from other clients and other agencies, that usually they end up with one high value or high net values product, and then they try to say, oh, we target ultra high net worth individuals. That's not very much true, because the key is how to be able to be successful, in targeting this. So whenever you're saying, hey, I want to know, and we can see that directly in yachting. Okay, so in yachting, there is a very big difference between motor yacht and sales. So in motor yacht, people don't know almost anything about the technicality of the yacht. In sales, people very much buy the yacht because they know 100% how they can sail it, and they would love to sail it single-hand, even if it's 100 feet. And so because of this, tomorrow you have a sailing yacht customer, and you bombard him with information that is in regard to technical details and so on, and he's picking up and absorbing information, and the moment that he's actually going to purchase a yacht, he's going to choose you. Why? Because you gave him as much information as possible. And the same situation happened in a motor yacht, and that will never be true, because like motor yacht customers, they are never driving their own yacht. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for that, and I think we're still rolling.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for everybody. Of course, this workshop is going to be available online, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye.